Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to round 7 of TS2 here at Trackstars Racing Series. We are live from Laguna Seca. Obviously, we just finished up TS3 where we saw another clean sweep by the FR racing driver in what would be Kabinski. Fantastic performance there. Unfortunately, we don't have Nick tonight, but on the other upper hand, we do have Chris Lashbrook. So last time he joined me was at Deep Forest, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, he's had a little bit of time off. He's been a little bit sick, but yeah, it's good to have him in here tonight, my friend. Welcome back to the commentary box. A couple of rounds later than probably what we would have wanted, but yeah, you got some big shoes to fill. So we'll wait and see if you can fill them pretty good.
Yeah, the deadly combo of Ryan and Nick is formidable here in the combox at Trackstars, but yeah, I think the last time I was in here was Spa for TC3 by memory. So yeah, a bit of time in between, but yeah, back with you here, mate. And yeah, in my former category here in TS2, mate. Yeah, Laguna Seca is spicing up at the moment because, well, LJ, I think LJ is currently leading the championship with Xylon, just currently in P2, sitting right behind him. So those two have, yeah, the consistency racing week in, week out has really rewarded them. But Xylon had a bit of a not so favourable performance there at Watkins Glen. But yeah, a few of the top runners here missing out this evening in Curry and in Waters. They put on a stellar performance there at Atlanta. So yeah, Laguna, I mean, this track is going to be pretty wild for these guys. We've already seen the amount of unforced errors there for the TS3 runners. Despite the carnage, there was a lot of errors going into turn 3, turn 4, and even the corkscrew there. So yeah, I'm pretty intrigued to see what these guys do tonight, and especially, yeah, LJ and Xylon, the two guys currently leading the championship, and especially for LJ, I think that Honda is going to be the favourable car around here. So we were just talking about that before, Ryan. I think the Honda with the BOP settings there and just his superior handling around this track might be the car to beat at the moment.
Yeah, well, as you were saying, obviously we had LJ and Les Sandwith, and then we have Cresto in Xylon, and then KH Lamb in HBR. So he's running third in the championship, still as a privateer in the Lexus. Sandwich has got about a 30-ish point lead, 29 point lead over Cresto, who's got just under 20 points to Lamb. So, mate, this series is spicy at the moment. Yeah, as you said, is led by Honda, followed by 3 Lexuses and then a Nissan. But yeah, practice for me, I did find that the Honda was probably the favoured car here. So we will see Smith makes a return as well through the privateer in the number 404. So yeah, we haven't seen Smith in top split. I think it was in split 2 last round. But yeah, I think it's going to be the car to be in the Honda. But as we see here, we've got Halton in P1 sitting at the moment here with a 15.246 in the CP Motorsports Nissan. I think if we've seen Halton turn up for a lot more rounds, I think he would definitely be championship leader. We all know what Halton's worth, what he's got, what his pace is like, and honestly, I would have liked to have seen him in main series again for co-drivers, but you know, unfortunately, obviously, we've got Speedy Tyres and Discord. Don't count them out either. We will have a pretty spicy Enduro series coming up, but we also have a new signing for FR Racing here in NATO in Lee. So Ridwan's come through with a pretty spicy signing here at the moment. I know of NATO. He did race the Le Mans and he had a pretty banger showing there in his performances there. He did come through as fastest pre-qualified too, so keep an eye out for NATO. It's going to be, I think, a battle between Halton and Lee here for the top runners.
Yeah, Holton missing a few races, but seriously still one of the guys to beat in terms of overall pace. And keep in mind, it's still a long season. There's still plenty of races go for the order to shuffle up, especially for the guys up there at the top in Lamb, Crestyle, and Sandwich. So there's still plenty to play out in terms of the championship, but I guess everyone's focus will be on this track here at the moment, and like I was just touching on before, the amount of unforced errors I saw in TC3 actually really surprised me. We all know the reputation the sausage curbs have here, but even just going into the Andretti hairpin up here, where Aussie's coming into now and nearly gives them a laugh tap there, but that corner, surprisingly, you can make a lot of time there. The marbles aren't so friendly, but there's a lot of different approaches you can take into that turn, as well as the corkscrew. So I think depending on the car, you're really going to have to drive to its best ability. We just spoke on the Honda before, pretty superior with the handling around here. But when we look at the Lexus here, I did have a suss of the BOP, and the horsepower is quite high. So I think from the Nissan to the Honda to the Lexus, the cars are going to have strengths and weaknesses despite the balance of performance on these cars for this series. So we can already see the Honda at the top there with Lee currently fastest with the 15th flat. That's pretty impressive already. So and I think Holton is in the Nissan as well, so followed by another Honda and the Nissan until we get the Crestale in the Lexus currently riding in 6th. He'll want a bit of a redemption race here, tying up there with Sam with only just behind him, so he might have the championship in. Oh, and he runs wide there just on the right. Crestale trying to keep it ahead of Sandwith here. He's probably mindful of him back there in 8th, but I don't think Crestale is going to be looking for an overall result as such. He knows some of these guys like Holton, who's missed some races, Lee, who's I think he's only his debut tonight, but as long as he keeps Sandwith behind him, I think he's gonna be happy with that at least.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as you're touching on, the battle at the front is pretty tight. Crestale didn't have the best run at Daytona. Sorry, they didn't run at Daytona. They ran at Watkins Glen, if my memory serves me correctly, and then Road Atlanta. So, yeah, Crestale didn't have a very good showing at Road Atlanta. You know, had some, I think he had an incident or two, but yeah, at the moment, Lamb is in front of both of them, so that's a good performance from him. He's currently the lead Lexus, so it's, as you said, cars are going to have both strengths and weaknesses. Keep an eye on Sandwith. That is my best thing. Just from seeing him, as we say that, we have Halton who goes to the top with a 15.044 there. And in saying that, Nathan Lee just smashes that with a 14.8. So, yeah, this is going to be a very good battle, I think. You know, early on we had Hosking too, battling with Halton at Deep Forest. That was a fantastic showing there. Unfortunately, we don't have Hosking. Hopefully, we see him back in New Year's. So, but yeah, Smith very closely behind there. He actually went PB as well with a 15.1, and then a pretty big gap back to Green. Green automatic qualifier as well. Yeah, Burke as well in Stavros Magpies jumped up here into P5. He's been kind of flying under the radar a little bit lately for Robert Sport Racing, who's about to move into RN Racing in the New Year. So, yeah, if Burke can have a good performance, he's definitely got a chance for a race win here. But yeah, you know, Nato Lee first round here, but I know what he's capable of, and as you can see here already, he's already got a 14.8. So. Yeah, that was short-lived there by Holton, wasn't it? Put on the fast lap, and only for NATO to drop him off there by 2/10 just moments after he crossed the finish line. So I was just about to comment there on the gaps here and how tight his qualifying order is at the moment. I think we finished at the moment. Seems like people are slowing up here. Yeah, they've on their final laps now. So. Well. We look at the order here, see, and Holton's gotten it within less than a 10th of NATO there, towards the end there, only, it's in the 10th, so that's impressive there by Holton. Do we see some people, is anyone else coming over the line at the moment, I think? Yeah, we got Churchill coming through here as well. Someone who's dropped down that I probably would have expected to be up high is Hall here. We got Hall in 9th, Churchill in 10th, then we got Aussie Taylor in 11th. He's also in the battle for the championship. Purden, automatic qualifier due to winning split 2 last week, P12. Mackenzie 13, Scotty 14th, and then Hedges in 15th. So Hedges was the last fastest qualifier. But yeah, it's 10 minutes are done and dusted there. There is one more runner, I think, because Sandwith is in the pit, so we're just going to have to wait for this time to run out. So, but yeah, pretty spicy qualifying. Hello, Ridwan, my friend. We got him in the chat there saying pole position for NATO. Yeah, he's put a mark on the series at the moment, so hopefully we see a little bit more of him.
Yeah, NATO's going to be arriving in pretty fast fashion here out of nowhere, and he's I'm sure a lot of people are accustomed to the pace this guy has, but straight away on pole position on his debut there in the Honda as well. So as we look at the order here, yeah, Burke has put himself in a good position there in 5th, a bit of a redemption run for him at the moment. And yeah, the top 3 in the championship currently 6th, 7th and 8th. So as we look at the guys at the front there looking to get a result and potentially win the race, we've got a championship scenario here in the mid-pack as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eye closely on this pack because you've got Lamb here, less than a 10th behind is Sandwith, and then just over a 10th behind him is Crestdale. So those guys are all in quick. Response here. Thank you, Rudsy, for telling me that. I will bump up my microphone a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty spicy one here, as I think I've said that already. But yeah, we got 1 second separating the top 9, and then back to 3.3 seconds to Hedges, back there for VL Racing. So yeah, it's gonna 17 laps here around this circuit, through the corkscrew, as we all know it. We're gonna be mine is louder, can hear me fine. Okay, well thank you. I'll turn Chris up a little bit. Yeah, so 17 laps ready to go. Here we are. I'm not hosting for once, which is pretty good. Yeah, who do you think is going to be coming through here for this win? Obviously, we got Lee on front row, and then Halter next to him, and then Smith and Green rounding out the top 4. So I think it's going to be a bit spicy. But you know, I can't really put a pin on it on who I'd see coming through for this one.
Yeah, well, we're seeing Green here in 4th position. We know he's capable of pretty good speed, race-winning speed. We even saw at Watkins and Glen what he was capable of in terms of pace there. Had a pretty unlucky run there with a mixed bag of results. But in that second row there can sometimes be favourable. A truck's prone to carnage. So I'm sure there'll be some people keen to collect on any mistakes, any incidents up ahead. But yeah, it's quite a varying amount of different speed that we've seen in a qualifying session here. So my tip is for Lee to kind of run away with it at the moment. But anything can happen. It is the sunny state of California, and this is our last leg here for the American Tour. And we're about to get underway here, Ryan.
Yeah, we are on the grid. Everyone's just talking a little bit of smack in the chat, but we've got 5 lights on, ready to go here. NATO on pole with that Honda there. Halton gets a good start there. Into 1. Oh, Lee tries to go real defensive there, try and get Green there. Oh, pushes him into a half-second penalty. What would be... Oh, Crestdale. Looks like he got
Crestdale and LJ 1st and 2nd in the championship. Getting tangled here. Was he helped? Was it a mistake? But that's pretty wild stuff for the top 2 there in the championship. So even Lamb caught in there as well. He must have got rear-ended there. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty big incident there. So yeah, big championship complications there for that one.
Yeah, I think Hall braked early, which is obviously what you do, but then he got rear-ended. So a lot of rear-ending happened there. And what's happened here? So...
Oh, Smith has been taken off here as well, entering the Hawk straight here. We've got Purton here on the inside. Maybe not that clean. Maybe Purton just missed his entry into the corner there a little bit, but we'll have to see the stewards have a look at that one, and already plenty for them to look at there at the start.
Yeah, you know, we saw the same thing in TS3 here. We've got Churchill with a half-second penalty. Then we had Green with a penalty, I think it was as well. But yeah, the HBR in Lamb is the biggest mover at the moment in that battle with the top three. But yeah, it looked like a massive domino effect here. Laguna Seca, it always happens. But yeah, we'll wait for the stewards to see that one. Purden as well, he's moved up the grid here. Scuddy, from what I can see, P12 too. So Hedges on a recovery drive. But yeah, back up to the front. We've got NATO 1 second behind Halton, and yeah, GT7 things, I guess.
Well, Lamb will be licking his chops at the incident that happened there with Sandwith and Crestdale there, so he'll be keen to maximise this result now. But seems like Burke's all over his rear bumper there, from what I just noticed before. So Lamb carrying the sole Lexus party up here in the top bunch at the moment, and already that top three is running away with at the moment. Lamb already nearly 2 seconds behind Green, who's currently in third position. So yeah, look, there's still plenty to play out here, but yeah, that's a wild incident there at turn one with some of the big players in the championship at the moment. So yeah, redemption drives on for Crestdale and Sandwith at the moment. So but yeah, some of those guys are qualified a bit further down the order. Going to try and make the most of this. So yeah, we've got a mixed grid at the moment. LJ already up into ninth position despite getting tangled there at the start. And Holton already with a 15-1 on one of the first banker laps here in the race trim. So yeah, these two guys here in Lee and Holton, serious pace already in the early running here. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be survival of the fittest. So for these guys at the moment, you can't split the two. So who cannot make the mistakes, who's not going to get the time penalties, and let alone those sausage curbs.
Yeah, I remember you telling me earlier you did run a little bit of practice there for your MSR TS2 boys, and you kept hitting some sausage curbs, and it's essentially kind of avoidance, you know. If you miss a sausage curb and miss the sand, you put in a decent lap. But yeah, HBR in KH Lamb, first Lexus run at the moment. Next one behind him is Aussie Taylor. Aussie Taylor's actually moved up recently well after an unfortunate, you know, slow qualifying here. Who's this in front of us? That is Burke. So Burke looks like he got a little bit hot on the exit, and I could see he was driving the wrong way.
That's unfortunate there for Burke, and probably bit of a free kick there for Lamb as well. He's going to have that bit of pressure off his rear end there now, and he's going to focus to look and keep it straight now. So yeah, big job for Lamb here to get as many points as possible, while LJ at Crestdale are recovering from that incident, trying to climb back up the order. As you see, NATO with the 15 flat, so Lee and Holton trading fastest laps at the moment. Currently a second in between the two. So yeah, I think these guys are going to just trade punches at this stage, so I can't really tell between the two at the moment. So any mistakes one of these guys are doing, the other one's going to be fist pumping behind the controller or wheel, however you like to race in Gran Turismo. So Green currently third, Lamb fourth. Well, yeah, if you're Ryan over here, the controller life speaks to him well. Currently P2 there in the mains, as we see Lee superior in the brakes there, coming into Andretti hairpin there, but it seemed I even noticed there at the corkscrew as well. Holton just has the corner exit speed with him at the moment, but under brakes you can visually see the gain he's making in there. So it looks like a bit hairy in the sand there, but they're both driving the cars very differently from what I'm seeing at the moment. And look, small mistake there from Lee already. Holton's going to capitalise that on there. So if one of these guys make a mistake, it's going to give the other one such an advantage. That's what you get with these very, very quick drivers, is that any minor mistake can be such a large gain for the person you're racing against. So as we see the mid-pack, some of the gaps have opened up here a fair bit. Seems to be up to a second or more in between some of these competitors at the moment. As we see Purton in 8th, he'll be happy with that. Mackenzie in 9th, and Justin there in 10th. The privateer looking to get back on track after his little adventure off there on the straight there, approaching the corkscrew. So they're racing pretty... Oh, and he's had another spinner. You can't make this up. Oh, geez, he straightened that up well. That almost looked glitchy to me. Honda things apparently, but that was impressive. You gathered that up quite well. I don't think I could do that ever.
That's the old thing of you just plant your foot, change down a couple of gears and give it a go. But Crestdale did good to avoid him there. He's on a, as you said earlier, recovery drive too. But he's going to want to catch Sandwich at the fastest pace he can. But he's on the hunt for Aussie Taylor there for P6. As Taylor runs wide there. Common occurrence for people to run wide there. Drop a wheel off and then you lose a little bit of time. But I think Sandwich has really been an underachiever at the moment. He was obviously new to the series this year. And yeah, he signed with FR Racing. And I think Ridwan's really helped him out there. Obviously leading the championship. That looked the same as me in the
Well,
McLaren
that's the thing with
areas.
Sandwich,
Yeah.
Well, he's been very happy to keep the Honda. I know Ridwan himself is very, very biased when it comes to the GTR fraternity there of the Nissan cars. But Sandwith's been able to convince his new team boss to hold on to this Honda, which I know he's very accustomed to this car and very used to this car. And I think in Ridwan's best interest, he wants some continuity with his drives, especially Sandwith, who's currently, like we've talked about, leading the championship. And you're right, he's been under the radar. I would think majority of races, maybe outside of Red Bull Ring, you haven't really seen him topping the charts with lap times, with pole positions, even with podiums. But being there every week and maximising his results, getting top fives, just keeping that car straight, and obviously being quick enough too, and the same with Crestdale and the same with Lamb. Those guys are at the top of the championship standings at the moment. So we can see Holton's got the pace, we can see even Lee's got the pace, but these guys have missed races. This is Lee's debut, so there's a lot of disparity from the track pace to the standings. So like I said, even that turn 1 implication is massive for Sandwith and Crestdale. So so we'll have to see if these guys can make the most of what they've got at the moment. But meanwhile, it looks like Lamb's going to make the most of this opportunity if he can keep that Lexus tidy and clean up there in 4th position. I think Lamb might still be there at the moment, and he's got a comfortable gap from Hall behind him, so he'll be looking to run his own race. And if I was Lamb, I might not be quick enough to catch these guys up front, but Sandwith is currently in 7th. Crestdale is not even on my screen at the moment, so let's bank these points and give ourselves an opportunity down the track.
Yeah, Lamb as well, he's quietly been putting in the effort and the performance there. We saw him in F2, he did pretty well, hovering around the kind of top 5, top 6 rough point, but coming into touring cars, he's really gelled with that Lexus, obviously privateer. We did offer him to drive. I know a couple of teams have offered him to drive, but he thought, nope, I'm going to stay as a privateer and I want to better myself this way. But, hats off to him, he's doing well. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that's Malaysia. He's the Malaysian driver we've got, and then obviously we've got Hall from America. And I think NATO is Singapore. I don't know my flag, so I do apologise for that if Brian can correct me on that one or read one. Or Indonesia or something or other that way. And then we've got Crestdale here. He's made a recovery. He's up to P8 there, 6 seconds behind Sandwith, to try to go for a move on Aussie into the corkscrew around the outside. Probably not where he wanted to be, but yeah, he's done pretty well there. Mackenzie up to P9, Purden P10, and I think Scuddy, he's dropped down to P11. Burke P12, battling with Hedges for P12, and then Churchill down here in P14. I think we've had a bit of a drop off. No. Yeah, we have. We've had someone DC. Smith has actually jumped out, so that'll be an unfortunate DNF there for him. There for race 1. And thank you for clarifying that. So we had Lee's Hong Kong and Lam is Malaysia. So I was close. Close, but not...
Yeah, there we go. Close enough. Within the region.
Enough.
But
Within the region. Mate, you know, Brian knows, everyone knows I'm not good with my flags, unless I know them specifically. But NATO's really closed his gap down to Halton at the moment. But that dirty air is really playing havoc with him, for what I can see. But yeah, that braking there of the Honda is quite considerably better, I noticed myself, in comparison to that one. But yeah, Halton putting on a masterclass here at the moment. Purple there through sector 1, so we'll wait and see if he can hold that one. But yeah, this where's this battle between Sandwith and Taylor? So
ooh, gets a bit taily there. Pretty keen on getting out of the corner as quickly as possible. Probably feeling the heat off Sandwith there behind him, carrying this Lexus Faithful all the way to the checkered flag here, along with it looks like Lamb is in 3rd. Is that a pass? Is that a mistake by Green? Green in 5th. Oh, looks like he's had it off here. An unforced error, and well and truly off to the Shadow Realm there. Green is. This track really bites on the unforced errors, let alone, you know, the time penalties that we've seen, which has really surprised me. So something to consider here for Lee and Holton up here at the front. They've both got the pace, but one mistake, one time penalty, and it can eat you alive. So Green into 5th, and meanwhile Lamb is the ultimate opportunist here, up into 3rd position, looking to make the most of Sandwith and Crestale's incident there into turn 2, I should say, not turn 1, turn 2 on the opening lap. So that's a mega drive by Lamb at the moment, and certainly that fresh air is going to play into his favour. But it looks like Hall isn't entirely that far off. He can definitely play only 2 seconds, see, a little bit of time, but still plenty to play out here. Meanwhile, Sandwith in 7th, Crestale, that's stabilised there at the moment. But I was just going to comment on the Honda there for Lee. You can tell, even in the dirty air there, when he's braking into the hairpin there, turn 2 under Holton, even though he's got that dirty air, still very superior under brakes, and Holton was able to keep a tight apex and go purple in that first sector, exiting turn 2 into turn 3. So these guys are steering these cars to the most that they can do. So and they're still putting down some mega lap times here. It's 15.3 there from Lee alone. So I think Holton might be able to hold on to this one if he can sweat the pressure there from Lee. But we saw Green go off there before, so yeah, anything can still happen at the moment. So yeah, it's anyone's game, despite, you know, it nearly being a second gap. And purple again there by Holton. So mega stuff by these guys. They're putting on an absolute clinic regardless of the result.
Yeah, well, you can see here they've pushed out to 12 seconds in front of Lamb. So, but Lamb is keeping Hall at bay. They're lapping roughly about the same time there, and then we've got 3 seconds back to Green. Taylor and Sandwith really battling here. This is gonna get spicy with what's that, 6 laps to go. Jumping into chat there, yes, Brian, that is exactly why I will not take you on in a game of GeoGuessr, because I simply suck. And that game Worldle as well, when the whole world section is, mate, I suck with flags. I suck with whole flags. I failed geography. I know flags that I know, and yeah, that's as far as we're gonna go. But you know, I am kind of thankful that at the moment GT7 is holding up with the internationals in the lobby. They don't look real laggy. Either obviously Lee, little bit of lag, but not too much. It's really kind of causing any havoc. But Daytona was terrible. But looks like the Aussies are currently outnumbered by the internationals. So yeah, they're definitely showing what they're made of.
Yeah, the netcode issues is unfortunately something out of pretty much everyone's control, but it seems to be pretty good at the moment. And all things considered, with Lee being out of Australia as well as Lamb. It seems to be pretty good at the moment. And whilst we're on that topic, I just want to give everyone an update on the Split 2 running at the moment. We have Severi currently running in P1 ahead of Baseman. I think what's his last name? Can't get it up there, but currently 1.2 seconds ahead of him at the moment. Mason, that's right, yeah. So they're currently duking it out there at the top at the moment. So that's getting pretty competitive, even here in Split 2 at the moment. Hedges running 14th at the moment, and he gets squiggly there. It's that dicey roll, isn't it? These guys are definitely wanting to keep up and put the pace in, but sometimes you can get a bit too greedy with your throttle inputs, and you can lose a rear end out. I mean, I think everyone in main series did at least once. At Daytona not too long ago, the discipline required to drive those cars was pretty insane. So I think they're playing for sheep stations a little bit here at Sandwich. Is that a time penalty, or was that
was a
Aussie?
half-second penalty, so that would be a corner cut somewhere. So, yeah, it'll call that time back there with 4 laps to go here at the last, as you said, the last of the American leg for Trackstars TS2. Next time we will see these guys out, as far as I believe, they are at High Speed Ring, so they are a support to the main series. So as far as I remember, we will see TS3 and TS2 on the calendar for High Speed Ring next week, and then main series will be there for the High Speed Ring 500 the week after. So going to be a pretty big couple of weeks here at the moment for Trackstars, coming up to Enduro. Some of these drivers as well are fighting for main series eligibility to be a co-driver. So NATO at the moment will be main series eligibility, but myself, I know NATO, he is eligible either way. He's obviously pretty high in knowledge, I do know there. What I can see here, Lamb has actually dropped back
Paul up to third, yes. Yeah, I was just about to say that before. 1 minute 18 there, so maybe another unforced error again by Lamb, as we've seen in TC3, now TC2. So I don't know if he's had an off there or something like that, but yeah, now Green is in very close proximity of Lamb, so yeah, he's really going to have to keep headstrong here and yeah, sweat it out to the end and still collect this, which is already a really good result regardless. Third to fifth, really good considering all things where he qualified and the pace of the others around him. So unfortunate there for Lamb. Hall's going to take well and truly big advantage of that and potentially collect a podium finish here, which would be fantastic for him. And the GTR faithful yet again trying to put another one on the Lexus family here, but I'm sure Lamb's got more to show here. But yeah, Green very, very close to him at the back there, so he might be able to put a move on here. I'd probably say turn 2, and it's probably the best bet for him considering the braking performance of the GTR. So yeah, he'll play himself into this. Meanwhile, Aussie 13 seconds adrift off this main top 5 at the moment. LJ in Sandwich 7th and Crestdale in 8th. See, Crestdale's not that far off. I think Sandwich had a bit of a tough time getting around Aussie at the moment. He's had the pace to do it. A bit of a time penalty there, and probably getting a bit flustered considering his race. I think he's had every colour of the rainbow here with Sandwich at the moment. So he'll try to look to get past Aussie. Meanwhile, we've got Mackenzie in 9th, in 10th. Now he's had a race. His race has been up and down, hasn't it? We qualified 5th or somewhere, I think he did, and he's down in 10th. So that's just that's Laguna Seca for you. He can get you. He's got the pace, but yeah, running in 10th at the moment. Purton in 11th, holds it on there nicely. And I think that's Churchill in 12th. So Scotty 13th and Hedges running 14th at the moment. So yeah, a lap and a half left. In the lead. Did I miss something here? An error? Oh, it's before the commencement
like
there.
It's before the commencement of lap 17. So 22, so it looks like Halter made a mistake. I'm assuming probably on the around the
There you go, 1 minute
corkscrew
22.
section. Yeah, so he's done a 122 there, which is 7 seconds. So yeah, Lee's jumped out to a 3.5 second lead there. So yeah, I'm assuming corkscrew section somewhere around that point there. So
As we've seen so far throughout this season, and especially all the other categories, regardless of the track, whether it's seaside or whether it's Laguna, consistency and pace has paid off here for Lee, and he'll collect on the error made by Holton here as he approaches the final corner here to maximise all of his points, win on debut to really stamp his presence here in the Trackstars Touring Car season. As he goes over the checkered flag and takes the win, Holton in second. He'll be pretty devastated with that because he had his number the whole time, but he will still finish second here, in Hall to finish on the podium here. Great result for him. Lamb fourth. That's fantastic performance here, followed by Green in fifth. Unfortunate there for Green as well. And looks like Cresswell has jumped in, and Sandwith is nowhere to be seen with this pack here. Things go from bad from worse. So Crestdale able to somewhat recover and still, regardless, put at least a few points on Sandwith in the championship chase, and he comes over in 8th position there. And Mackenzie in 9th. Burke will come over in 10th, which he's had the experience of his lifetime in this race, so he'll be glad to at least get over the finish line there. Churchill with a half-second penalty will come over to 11th. Really good performance there by Churchill. Definitely an up-and-comer and an improving driver for sure. Purton in 12th here. As we see Scott in 13th and Hedges to round out the 14 races here. Wow. So Holton in control of the whole race, only to fall short right towards the end. So he'll be kicking himself with that. So yeah, wow. I bet Lee's probably feeling a little bit gifted there, but he'll take it without a doubt. So yeah, great performance by those guys at the front there. And yeah, Laguna Seca being one of those tracks where you can really find the little gains to maximize your lap time and your speed. It can collect so many errors, and we've seen Green with the error, Holton, let alone the incident that happened there at turn 2. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of varying different pace here, but the grid's been shaken up. So the start of race 2 is going to be just as spicy, I reckon, Ryan.
yeah, I think it will be. Obviously, considering we saw NATO on pole position there, and he ended up getting passed by Holton on the start. So yeah, I think it's going to be very spicy there in the run to turn 2 in the Andretti hairpin. So yeah, it'll be see if NATO can get a bit of a switchback there. But yeah, I do apologise there. NATO did get his major eligibility at Le Mans. Thank you, Kaizen. But yeah, Hall coming through in P3 and Lamb in P4. Green P5. Taylor P6. Crestdale and Sandwith swap positions. I think Sandwith made a bit of a mistake on that second to last lap there. So they ran out the top 8 there. Mackenzie P9, Burke P10, Churchill P11, Purden P12, Scuddy P13, Hedges 14, and then obviously Smith with the DNF there in the Honda. So a bit unfortunate, but not much you can do there. So yeah, as we always sit back, relax here. We'll be back very shortly for race 2 here at Laguna Seca for the last leg of the American section. Yeah, as I said, take a small break here, and then we shall be back very shortly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here for race 2 for Trackstars TS2 at Laguna Seca. Nato on pole, then we got Halton, P2, and then Hall coming P3. We got 3 lights there, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we got the race start here, ladies and gentlemen. Lee with a better start there, gets the jump on Hall. We'll run back through the back of the grid, see if we can catch any issues that happen. A lot cleaner, a lot better.
Oh, touch wood there. Don't jinx it, Ryan. But no, we got through there nice. So, so Justin is.
Yeah, Smith has jumped back in again. So
Smith is, so he's jumped in here. So that's great for him. So Lee, much better start off the grid. Stabilizes P1 there. So now the roles here will be reversed for Lee and Holton here. So they'll probably. Lamb into 3rd, great for him to be able to get 3rd spot. Hall 4th, Green 5th, Aussie 6th, Crestdale 7th, and Sandwich 8th. So got Burke 9th, Smith 10th, Purton 11th, and Hedges 12th. Hedges from the back of the grid up into 12th. Oh, bit of a touch there, Purton. And I think it was Smith, was it?
Yeah,
not too sure.
Purton hit the back of Smith there. Was lucky not to get a half-second penalty. Looks like Purton kind of underestimated the braking there of Smith. Looks like they had a bit of a headwind as well, so he tried to probably go a little bit heavy under the brakes. But Smith has got a big task to go ahead. We saw how quick he was in qualifying there. So he's got it. Yeah, as I said, got a bit of a hard task, but I reckon he'll be pretty good and he'll come back through the order. So Burke 1.7 seconds up the road. He'll be up there in no time battling with Sandwith. But Sandwith, Crestdale sitting P7, 8 at the moment. They'll be wanting to try and catch Lamb at the best rate they can, because at the moment the Lamb's going to be taking out the most amount of points between those top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lamb being able to keep that finish position there for the grid order to start this second race. So he's going to absolutely maximise here if he can keep it consistent. We've already seen big names and fast names there in Lee. Lee, sorry, he didn't spin out. That was Holton. Apologies there. But even Green had a mistake as well, amongst others. So yet again, we're seeing with a lot of these races, even the longer format or the sprint format, if you've got the pace to be top 3, to be top 5, doesn't mean you're going to finish there. So already Lamb being the personification of showing consistency and keeping the car on the road. And look at this, he's probably going to walk away with more points than his championship contenders in Crestdale and Sandwith. So Crestdale and Sandwith, they're in 7th and 8th at the moment, duking it out with Burke, who wants to get back in the party after being a bit of a journeyman in that first one. So those 3 guys are going to be pushing quite hard, as you will see Burke there just getting a bit friendly there on the rear end of that GTR. So and even Smith there, he had decent pace in the practice and qualifying sessions leading up. So you got a full car charge here, looking to gain some better results here. So and that's the thing with Laguna, we've already said before, Ryan, to make those small gains. Burke again, he's got his signature out there on that sand trap out there at the Hawk Straight there. I think that's the 3rd time I've actually seen him do that. Pushing so hard. This is the thing about making mistakes and getting caught up in drama.
The sausage. Sandwich got the sausage as well.
That was a dirty air train just there. It was follow the leader. The trendsetter there at the front, and everyone else followed. And unfortunately, Burke is caught up yet again, fella. That's just how it is sometimes, mate. With the dirty air, We've raced at Seaside, we've raced at Deep Forest, and the dirty air is a interesting topic of discussion here with these cars, and has been across all categories. And I mean, does it really simulate realism? I mean, I think I know where you sit on that one, Ryan, let alone myself. But I mean, a part of the skill to be able to drive these cars, to make passes and defend, is adjusting the driving style to accommodate for the dirty air, So we saw Lee in the Honda do that pretty reasonably when it was behind Holton. And we've got someone off again.
That was Burke there. Did Burke push Scuddy off there? He did redress that, but it was directly on the racing line. Probably not where he should have done it, but yeah, very good avoidance there by Churchill and Hedges there. Top job to those.
That was actually quite impressive, that dodge there. Yeah, I did miss that. That was pretty good in itself there. But yeah, Burke having every colour of the rainbow with his 2 races here this evening. He's got the pace and he's caught up in and all sorts of things. So yeah, he'll be driving like a man possessed right now to try and get back up there with the top mix. Scuddy pretty keen to let him go there, understandably there. So Burke up into 13th and about just under 5 seconds from Mackenzie there, so he'll look to climb back. Meanwhile, looks like Lamps held on to 3rd, which is pretty good at the moment. Looks like Green's been able to jump Hall, so maybe that's been a bit of a free kick again for Lamb to be able to give himself some room to operate while these two here are duking it out. So yeah, Green able to get the move done there. In terms of Green missing races, I mean, we know he has missed some races, but not as much as some of the other contenders that we've spoken about previously, like Curry, who's a beast in his own right. So, yeah, I mean, if Green can stitch together results, like he's well and truly capable of doing, I wouldn't count him out for, to maybe eventually jump into the mix. So, still plenty of races to go, but he'll be happy with that one for sure.
Yeah, well, obviously his first round out, he did get a very good performance. He got P2, not P2, sorry. He did get 240 points. So I think it was P4 or P5 around that point. So yeah, he did a very good job on debut here. Smith is all over the back of Aussie Taylor in WTC versus the privateer there.
To say Aussie Taylor there, probably man in the match so far in terms of parking that car right in the middle of the track and playing defensive player of the race at the moment. He's had Sandwith on his back of him there in the first race and Crestdale, and he's managed to keep this bunch here at bay. I think there's a bit of a pace disparity, but despite that, Taylor's been able to make life very difficult for everyone around him that's trying to get around him. So props to him at the moment, being able to maintain position for as long as he has, even in the first race. So Aussie Taylor is been formidable with his defensive work at the moment. So we'll see if anyone can manage to find a way around him. No one really has at the moment. So I'm sure Smith will be pretty keen after the DNF there in the first race. So and he's got a pretty couple keen championship contenders behind him as well. So yeah, we've got the pace up there. Oh, love that. Oh,
looks like it's a sole mistake there. I think he just ran a little bit wide, but yeah, I was about to just go on board with Smith there, but he had a not too bad a run there, but he was in the marbles. Looks like he tried to get on the gas a little bit too early. Maybe a sausage curb. The GT7 lag kind of didn't do us any favours there, but yeah, hit the sand and it was a spin there, losing P7 to Sandwith at Crestdale. But Sandwith has got around Crestdale. They're in a battle there for P6. But jumping back up to the front, NATO, he was out to about 3 seconds or so in front of Halton, but Halton's brought that down to what would be 1.7, 1.8 seconds. But mate, the driving in this at the moment, we've had some drivers come through here through TS2. We had Waters, we've had Loxy as well. Unfortunately, they weren't around to race. We've got NATO, Halton, we've had Hosking. Last year we had Matt Simmons, and then Liam Tame in Viper Z. Then we had Simon as well. Mate, the caliber of drivers we've got coming through at the moment is absolutely incredible. Now as well, they're stretching out to the internationals too. I think I've seen, this is the most amount of international I've seen. Green, he's made a mistake coming out of the last corner.
That's a very odd spot to make a mistake there. Was it his own doing? Maybe a spin here on the... Oh, yeah. Bit of ripple curb along with that slight bit of AstroTurf there on the outside. So Green, despite having the pace to be on the podium, yet another unforced error has seen him drop down the order yet again, and already pretty keen to try and make an outside move. Doesn't get it done. Some of these outside moves I've seen even in TC3 are quite possible, especially going into leaving the corkscrew there, and even to the hairpin, Andretti hairpin there, because you can pinch them on the apex and they essentially run out of racing room, and then you've got the ideal line. I remember Crestal, my own teammate, pulled that on me twice. Round 1 in TC2 there at Turn 1 at Deep Forest. Made me look like a fool doing that, but yeah, pretty possible to make some pretty wild overtakes here. So Aussie into 5th, take advantage of the incident from Green, and yet again getting a bit of a gap from Sandwith, who is behind him. So yeah, Aussie might not be setting the timesheets alive here with his pace. His quickest at the moment is a 16.3, but nonetheless, he's like Lamb. He's keeping it straight. He's defending when he can, and he's taking advantage of other people's mistakes. So great strategy here by Lamb and Aussie. Maybe half strategy, half coincidence, but nonetheless, yeah, those guys are doing a fan. Oh, that was almost chaos there. Yeah. Decent recovery there though, but and loses the rear there a little bit. Damn, these guys are pushing. They definitely want a result here.
Yeah, they're pushing the absolute living crap out of the cars there. As we see Green go for an inside move there on Xylon.
Taps him. Well, that one will be up in the air. Is there a redress here?
He did let him pass. That was a redress.
Yeah, you don't want to go too abreast there, entering Rahal straight there. That is not somewhere you want to be. I've already seen Burke and Smith go wide on the outside there, trying to go too wide. So Green, a smart decision to redress there and tuck him behind and have another go. When Smith already beside him now, takes the move on the inside, and and Green,
I think Green just
off into the sand.
There. I don't think there was a
Hard
touch.
to tell. Smith had incident there before, so we'll have to say, maybe a bit of a touch. We do need to take into account lag here, so yeah, wow, so unlucky for Green. You had promising pace to get good results here, and like we've already seen with Burke and a couple of the other runners here, you know, mistakes can be costly at Laguna Seca. So, and that'll promote even Aussie. I think he stays 5th, Crestalden 7th now, Smith 8th, and Sandwich still in 6th. Yeah, so those guys, a bit more space to operate now. They'll probably be, you know, pretty sad there for Green, but probably cheering that they've got a bit of space now to operate. So still plenty of time for the results to change up yet again. We've already seen the order change so much. Purton up into 9th, despite the issues for him in race 1, and we have Churchill here in 10th. So yeah, and LJ Sandwith, was that his own doing?
Yeah, he just ran a little bit wider onto the sand.
Mistake. That has been the number one mistake for all these drivers here, for the unforced errors, going up there into the Rahal Straight, because you can gain and lose so much time there. If you play conservative entering that corner there, you can lose time, but if you attack it, you can gain heaps. But the risky run is running wide there, and we've already seen it so often. So wow, so much to play out here, and I'm surprised by the lack of I thought I might have seen a bit more overtaking, defending more racecraft, but so many unforced errors, so many individual mistakes here. So I knew Laguna was unforgiving, but to this degree, yeah, I'm a bit surprised. So I'm even more happy I'm not racing this track now, to be honest. So let these guys do that for us.
You don't really have much forgiveness on the track, as you were saying. You know, it's realistically just a ripple strip, which is what would be, you know, probably about a metre or so. But coming to these corners now, where Smith's going through the corkscrew, you've got some AstroTurf, but then, you know, sand on the outside. Get the sand in and get a spin. But in regards to that Smith and Green incident, I think Green just tried to go for a little bit of a crisscross there, maybe try and get back inside. Smith was far enough up, he left him room, he was really tight on the apex, and I think, honestly, for me, that would personally just be a bit of a racing incident there. Probably leaning towards Green, you know, just turning in a little bit too tight. But Smith, pretty good recovery drive for at the moment. Started P15, up to P7, on the hunt for Cresto. Fastest lap at the moment for him would be a 14.999. So he's the third driver in the 14s. In saying that, Halton has jumped into 14.5 with NATO in a 14.6. But mate, these guys up the front, they're in the next level masterclass. I would be very keen to see Waters, if he was in the mix of this, how he would go with these, same as Curry as well. Even bring Hosking back too. So, you know, he was battling with Hosking, and then, you know, you got NATO jump in. Mate, Ridwan dropped back to TS2 for a couple of races. But, yeah, other than that, you can kind of see, you know, 13 seconds in front. The guys really kind of like it. You can see the caliber between them, you know. HBR, for me, he's been from when he started in formulas, you know, I didn't know who he was when he first signed up for Trackstars formulas, but since starting to where he is now, he's honestly, personally, the biggest mover in the short amount of time. You know, he started probably P8, P9, now he's battling for podium positions. So I'm very fond of Lamb, obviously the international driver as well. So yeah, he's had some pretty good performances there in that red Lexus. His formula was red, his Lexus is red. He's someone signing.
It's a bit of identity, isn't it? That red livery right there, that code. It's if you see that coming, no matter the car, almost good chance it could be Lamb that's racing around you. So he's definitely trademarked that colour for him. But yeah, as you were saying, Lamb very loved, very fond in the Trackstars community. Maybe half of it personally, the other half the fact that more than probably a couple teams have maybe requested his services, Ryan. I think he's one of the most hunted at the moment, as you can tell. He's a pretty quick privateer, so I'm sure that he's had a lot of DMs of people requesting his services. But yeah, in terms of his improvement, his dedication to practice, to understanding the data and to improving himself is quite impressive. He was a teammate of mine running in GTC, and yeah, I could see it firsthand. His ability to learn from mistakes, to learn from where he could gain time, where he could make even more time. So that's been fruitful for him, as we can see. Him running in the podium positions at the moment. We already know he's main series eligible as well, so he's got the tools to be quick and fast and very very handy off the track as well. So yeah, great asset to any team that can manage to sign him. But like we said, those red colours, yeah, almost trademarked by the man himself, Lamb. And you're mentioning the caliber of this series at the moment as well. I don't think it's fair to call it TS2 at the moment. Maybe TS 1.5 or 1.2, because yeah, there's a lot of pace and internationals as well. So it's fantastic to see the league grow overseas. I'm sure a lot of the Australians are very excited and like the opportunity to race against people from all over the world, and we're seeing that with Lee at the moment, and even Lamb, who's a consistent runner in Trackstars. So yeah, as you were saying, runners, you know, Waters and Curry, and this is your dream scenario for TS2, isn't it, to see all those guys on the grid at once. So hopefully we can see it at some stage, because yeah, I think that would be awesome to see the comparison with all those guys on the grid together. But right now it's Lee in the lead from Holton second, who still holds the fastest lap. Fantastic consistency by Lee. I did notice before he did, I think, 4 laps in a row there in the 14s. So and there's a lot of the runners that aren't even in the 14s yet. So he's got this one in the bag at the moment by the looks of it, unless if he makes a mistake, as we've already seen from Holton in race 1.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Yeah, the jinx factor is real. I can speak to that. As we see, Aussie still holding down 5th position with Hot Crestdale, who's actually 3 seconds off him now. So wow, Aussie's almost my driver of the day at the moment, because like I said, probably not the quickest guy on track compared to some of these other people around him in Crestdale and even Smith, but he's put on a defensive masterclass here, and look, he's got a 3-second gap. So he's doing a fantastic job at the moment in the Lexus there. As we see Justin Smith, why do I keep getting that mixed up? In the privateer in the Honda there, keeping in close proximity. Another move similar to Green on the overtake.
He does
and
let him
rolls
go.
out of it. Maybe a bit of PTSD on that one, but yeah, smart move by him there, maybe avoiding a possible penalty. We'll have to see what the stewards say about his incident there with Green, as Green is currently in 9th, so that's a pretty good recovery at the moment.
I reckon he's going to go for an inside move here. He's going to probably go deep on the brakes. No, Crestdale defends there.
But can he do the switch back, or does he keep it keeps it on the inside? Crestdale does a good job there to block off the switchback. Yeah, I mean, defending on the track like Laguna Seca is probably isn't as difficult as maybe some Grand Prix style of tracks. It is a very narrow track, like some of the tracks we all have already raced at in the touring car season here. So yeah, it doesn't take much to defend, but that Honda has a big disparity in the terms of how it performs compared to the Lexus. So I'd say, yeah, Ryan, as you said, a move on the brakes there. Andretti hairpin, or even approaching the main straight at the last turn there. So it'll definitely be a move under brakes for sure, and have to see if he can get in that slip. But yeah, Crestale keeping it straight at the moment, and he goes a very aggressive move, but he gets it done. That was a split-second decision there. You could tell there by Smith, who just took the opportunity. Crestale driving high to get a good corner exit, but left the door wide open there for Smith and covers in for good measure. So yeah, Smith able to jump Crestale there to take 6th position, approaching the final lap. Looks like Lee is approaching some lapped traffic by the looks of it. Yeah. I thought that was Holton there for a moment. So that's Burke there in 14. So Lee will jump him with a 5-second buffer heading to the checkered flag to take 2 from 2 by the looks of it. As we see...
You're funny, Nick, you're funny. You're saying you think Chris needs some water, and then Curry goes he needs some milk. Good times, boys, good times. But Nato coming around the last corner here at Laguna Seca, taking the clean sweep. Get the brooms out. Get the brooms out. Go get him a broom, mate. Take a breath and go get him a broom. But yeah, Lee coming.
Get him a broom and get me some milk, apparently.
Nato coming across the line for first place. Holton across the line for P2, and then Lamb here P3. In that privateer, as you were saying, right just in front of Hall. Solid performance there by Lamb and Hall as well. Hall's dropped off a little bit lately in the last couple of races, but he has jumped back up here at Laguna Seca. And Smith across the line with a 14.86 in his PB lap. Aussie Taylor, Crestale and Sandwith for 6th, 7th and 8th. And then 9.5 seconds down the road, we've got Green. So yeah, good recovery there by Green. A bit unfortunate with what happened, but it's racing, I guess. Purdon across the line in P10, Mackenzie P11, and then Churchill for FR Racing P12. Scuddy for WRT coming across the line in P13, and we have Burke in P14, and Hedges a lap down, unfortunately, between those two guys. But yeah, solid performance there. As Ridwan did say. Clean sweep there for FR Racing, and it was TS2, TS3 clean sweep. But yeah, solid performance there. Fastest lap goes to Holton. Unfortunately, we don't give out extra points for fastest lap. But yeah, a bit of incidents there. It's racing, is what it is. But yeah, we'll let the stewards deal with what they can. But yeah, that's pretty good round there, round 7. As you said, we always know Laguna Seca is a bit of a problem track. We see it in real life, and we see it here tonight. So, yeah, but you know, I think what do we have expected for next round at High Speed Ring? I think it's going to be very different to this one. I think the Lexuses are going to come through that one, unfortunately, compared to the Hondas. I think the Hondas may lack a little bit of straight line speed.
Oh, well, it'd be nice for the Lexus to maybe go to a track where the cars might favour their style there, Ryan. But, yeah, no, that was a really good performance there by the newcomer in Lee to, yeah, take a clean sweep there. Both races taking P1 with ease there. So, great debut for him, and little would we know that Ridwan is performing as a team manager just as well as he is in the main series. So, yeah, FR Racing really stamping their authority here across across the 2 divisions in the touring car season at Track Stars at the moment. And I wanted to put it to you, Ryan, driver of the day. I mean, I've already said it, and I stick by it. I think Aussie was fantastic there, in making life everyone difficult around him that was trying to get the overtake completed on him, but he managed to park it right in the middle of the track, and for that he gained a lot of positions. So Lamb, honourable mention there as well. Really good job in terms of the championship implications there to be able to maximise a lot of points on both Crestale and Sandwiths. But yeah, I think Aussie Taylor, yeah, he's got to be my driver of the day.
I would, sorry. Just had to cough there. I would go Aussie Taylor, but you know I got to support Nick here on this one. I got to go Lamb. He's really showing what he's made of. You know, he's starting to get comfortable with the Lexus, and he's currently lead Lexus driver at the moment. So in the last probably 2, maybe 3 rounds. Obviously, he's not that high in the championship as high as Crestale, but yeah, he's done a solid job here. And as Nick said, yep, Lamb driver of the day. Mine for sure as well. I'd give it to NATO, but everyone knows NATO. NATO's quick, and he's signed for FR, and it's led by Ridwan, mate. It's just a team of quick drivers. But yeah, look, I support your decision in Aussie. He kept out of trouble and really came through with the result. Probably good for his championship as well. I know he has lost a little bit of confidence in formulas, and then now coming into touring cars. Suits him a lot better, you know, they don't have to tune, they don't have to do anything. It's essentially run what you brung. So, yeah, it looks like he's got a bit of confidence back. I think he's running his best performances at the moment here in TS2. You know, he's sitting in 4th in the championship, not too far behind. So, you know, anything's possible at the end of round 13. But yeah, you know, your driver of the day's gone to Aussie Taylor, mine's gone to Lamb. But yeah, solid performance there from these guys. Clean sweep for NATO, and clean second place Bandit, as my nickname to myself is, for Halton.
Yeah,
I think depending on how qualifying ended up, whether or not it'll be a battle for third between Lamb and Hall. I think Lamb qualified in front, but I'll wait and see with that one. But yeah, you know, big ups to the boys and girls here. To Burke as well for hosting. It felt good not having a host, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Big ups.
Yeah, I just want to say for Split 2 here, looks a very clean sweep here in Split 2. Takes a win in both races ahead of Flyboarding here, who took second place here. So Severi, I think, yeah, earned himself top split eligibility for the next race at High Speed Ring. So good job there by the man in the GTR.
Yeah, top job there for the guys over at Split 2. You know, High Speed Ring, we'll try and get some more drivers there for next round. But, you know, driver showing has been well. Obviously, unfortunately, we couldn't have Nick in the com box, but, you know, I do thank you for jumping in, Lashbrook. You did a good job. You did a good job for your third time out. It is a pretty daunting thing, but, you know, as you know, me and Nick obviously do commentating over at Motor Motion as well, so we are pretty seasoned for this kind of stuff. But no, you did well, and I'll be happy to have you in anytime. But yeah, if
oh, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the compliment. Seems the only person I'm hearing from at the moment, but maybe I might need to take some advice here. I'll have to decide if I have some milk or water. Either way, I'm sure it'll serve me good. But no, thanks for having me again, mate. And yeah, I'll be sure to hear some solid feedback from Nicholas about my performance. But no, thanks for having me, mate. Always a fun time here, and yeah, enjoyed it.
No, it's been good. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for round 7 here at Trackstars TS2 and TS3. For round 7 here at Laguna Seca. We are finished for the American leg of the championship. Join us next week from High Speed Ring here, TS2 and TS3, and then the week after that we do have the main series. Start of the Enduros, the big endurance series, 2 drivers, a couple of stints each for the big 300 points. So it's going to be a pretty big few weeks for us, but for round 7 and for your Sunday night, unfortunately, that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen, from Chris Lashbook in Smashing Apex, Nick Patasso, I know he's there in spirit, and myself in Ryan Palmer. John Mandella's unfortunately not feeling well. Happy birthday to the man himself as well. It is his birthday today. Yeah, so big happy birthday to him. And yeah, as I said, catch us next week again live 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Yeah, like, subscribe, follow the channel, do what you can, and